if the total project is 10 1/4 miles long, the whole thing, from here till here, that is the whole thing. Okay. Question now. What length of pipe will be stored offsite? So when we say, I have in my pocket 10% of $100, the operation of is multiplication. They are telling us that the distance between A and B is 10 1/4 miles. And they are telling us that 2/3 of 10 1/4 will be stored offsite. It means multiplication. Of means multiplication. So then I have to multiply 2/3 by 10 1/4. I can't before I put in the integer. So 2/3 multiplied by, so 10 times 4 is 40, plus 1 is 41 divided by 4. Of course, I will simplify if I can, and I can. So then the improper fraction, the improper fraction is 1 times 41 over 3 times 2. And this is 6 integers and 5/6 of a mile. So from those 10 1/4, 6 5/6 will be stored offsite. Any questions on this problem? Okay. Good. About this problem, find the unknown length. So see, we have the entire length of 34 1/2. We have this little piece of 8 1/4. We have this little piece of 3 7/8. What we don't know is this piece. So the whole 34 1/2, let me copy it. This is the total of 34 1/2 inches. This we have. We have this piece, which is 8 1/4, and we have this piece, which is 3 7/8. Okay, so what we need to know or determine is this piece. In order to determine that piece, obviously, from the total, I have to subtract these two, and I will get this unknown. So let's do that. Any questions so far? Anybody? So 34 1/2 will equal 8 1/4 plus x, I'm going to call this x, and plus 3 7/8. So the whole distance is nothing else but the sum of these three pieces. Okay, so as you remember from solving equations, in order to solve for x, I have to move this to the other side, I have to move this to the other side, changing its sign. So I have x equals, from 34 1/2, I have to subtract 8 1/4, and I have to subtract 3 7/8. Do we put the integers in? Or do we, because it's addition and subtraction, we have two options. We either put the integers in, or we split it in addition and subtractions of fractions and integers. What would you like?
I normally get rid of the whole numbers first.
Okay, so then in that case, you would like to do this, 34 plus 1/2, but be very careful here. Minus 8 minus 1/4, both have to be subtracted. Same thing here, minus 3 minus 7/8. So this is extremely important to understand. If the mixed number has a negative sign in front, both pieces are negative. Okay, so with addition and subtraction, remember, you do whatever you want. I want to do this. 34 minus 8, which is 26. 26 minus 3, which is 23. Now for all these pieces, the small pieces, meaning the fractions, I have to find the least common denominator, which is easy because 2, 4, and 8 is a multiple of the other two. So that's nice. Now I need the adjustments. I cannot continue without the appropriate adjustments. 2 was multiplied by 4. 4 was multiplied by 2. And 8, nothing, or you just write 1. Now careful, because this is 4 minus 2 minus 7. We have to be careful now. So x equals 23 plus, see, this is negative 9 plus 4 will be negative 5 over 8. So x equals 23 minus 5 over 8. I have no choice but borrow a 1. So I'm going to have to write 22 plus 1 minus 5 over 8. 1 has to be, at least you imagine, if you don't write it, you imagine that you replace it by 8 over 8. So you can subtract from 8 over 8, you can subtract 5 over 8. So therefore, x equals 22 integers, 8 minus 5. 8 over 8 minus 5 over 8 is 3 over 8. And of course, never forget the measurement unit. So from this figure, this piece is 8 1/4. This piece is 22 3/8. And this piece is 3 7/8. And the whole thing is 34.5 inches.
I do have a question.
Please.
Can you at the first step, can you just remove the fractions?
Excellent question. The answer is yes, but you must put integers in first. You cannot multiply both sides by 2 or 8 or whatever you want, in this case 8. You cannot multiply before you change the mixed numbers into improper fractions. And that makes it a little bit more difficult, because you will have to do that first. Maybe not more difficult, but maybe a little bit more work, or maybe that's what you want to do, that's fine. But you first have to put the integers in before you multiply both sides by 8 to eliminate all fractions. Very good question. Is this okay? Is that a yes? Is that a no?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Let's see if we have anything else, or we can move on. How many miles is it from A to B? From side A to side C. When going through side B, and John walks at an average speed per hour, divide the distance by the walking speed to determine how long. Okay, I think we got the picture. We can work on this on Thursday if there is any problem. Okay, so these were operations with mixed numbers. Now we have equations with mixed numbers and the order of operations. So let's take a look. So let's see what we want to do here. So these are slightly more complicated situations with order of operations, with they are throwing all sorts of things at us. Mixed numbers, operations, yada yada. Everything we've studied so far. Tell me when to stop, please. So these are two fractions that are divided. 17 over 26 divided by 51 over 13. If it's a yes, please say yes. If it's a yes, please say yes. If not, I will choose. It's a yes on 3?
I was thinking through.
Okay. Yes, of course, 4 I was gonna pick anyway. Good.
I get 3 after 4.
Yes, let's start with 3. Excellent, excellent. We are a team. I need your input. Good, excellent. And then we'll do 4. Okay. Notice one thing. As we know, any expression number can be written as x over 1. 7 can be written as 7 over 1. And I need that. So first I'm going to write, notice that there is no fraction under 7. Do not assume that this is 1 over 7. That would be a terrible mistake. So this is basically 7 over 1 minus 17 over 16. Yes, we always simplify before multiplying. And I can. 7 by 7 and 14 by 7. Only from the top, a factor from the top with a factor from the denominator. So then this fraction is simplified to negative 9/2. 9 times 1, 2 times 1. Minus 17 over 16. And this is a nice situation. Because 16 is a multiple of 2. What is the least common denominator?
16.
Yes. And that's nice because I only need to adjust this by an 8. Why? Because 2 was multiplied by 8 to get 16. That's why I have to give the same or apply the same treatment to the numerator. So negative 72 minus 17. Notice that the sign goes with the top. So we have negative, 89 divided by 16. First, determine the sign of the outcome. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. Then, divide 89 by 16. When I divide 89 by 16, I get the integers. And the integers are 5. So 5 integers and something over 16. How do I determine that something? From 89, I subtract 5 times 16. From 89, I subtract 5 times 16. And that is a remainder at the top, which is 9. So I have 9. Remember, this fraction has to also be fully simplified. 9 and 16 are fully simplified, so. Is this okay? Before we move on to 4.
Yes.
So this is just
Also,
putting together what we, yes, go ahead.
just a quick question. So
Yes.
the book, like, when you're doing it, it wants you to use the prime, like, grab all the prime factors first. I noticed you just did it a little bit differently with canceling, I think.
Yes, of course, because
So which way, like, would you just, like, which way would you recommend normally doing it?
always simplify before, as much as you
Get the
can
prime
before you.
So get the prime factors first.
Yes, so you can write 2 times 7, but it's more writing and it may be more confusing to some. And secondly, there is really no need to list all the prime factors and all the prime factors and start crossing out, because you should do that before multiplying, always. Because the numbers become too big.
Okay. Let's see.
This is what I recommend. Very good question. Okay, back to 4. In 4 we have negative 9 minus 3 squared over 8 minus 7 and parentheses negative 6. Good. Where is the starting point?
Simplification of the squared number.
Yes. So the numerator is negative 9 and then
Minus 9.
say it again.
Minus 9.
Very good. Everyone agrees with minus 9. Please remember, the power is not applied to the negative sign. I have to square what I see and then multiply by negative 1. The denominator is 8 and negative 7 times negative 6 is positive 42. We go back to the top and we get negative 18. And we go to the denominator and we get 50. First, we deal with the sign. The sign, negative divided by positive, is negative. And then 18 and 50, they are both even numbers. We are going to divide them. They are divisible by 2. So I have 9 and 25. And this is the final answer. It's a fully simplified. It's a proper fraction. Fully simplified, there is no need to do anything to it. Sorry about that. So there is nothing we need to do here. Always establish the sign and then write the final answer. It has to be fully simplified, please remember. Okay. Okay, now please carefully let's look and decide which one we need to work on. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Nothing? Is everything clear?
7 or 9 or 10?
We have to do 10 at least, and then we can go back to others. So in 7 we have 5/4 negative 11/4 plus negative 5/4 squared, and this is positive. So 5/4 minus times negative 11/4 plus negative 5/4 squared. Yes, we need to work on this. Good. Where is our starting point?
Simplification.
So I would take the power, I would apply the power first. But since this is added, these two quantities are added, yes, you can do them at the same step, the first step. I'm multiplying the positive by a negative. The result has to be negative. Now 5 times 11 is 55. 4 times 4 is 16. So first I address the symbol, the sign. When I multiply a positive by a negative, I get a negative number. Then I multiply 5 by 11 and I get 55. Then I multiply 4 by 4 and I get 16. Now I have to be careful. I am squaring a negative number. I know the answer has to be positive. There's no discussion there. So I'm going to put positive.
25 over 16.
25 over 16. I square 5 and get 25. I square 4 and I get 16. Look at that. Very nice. I don't have to find the least common denominator because both have the same denominator. So negative 55 plus 25 is negative 30 over 16. First, I deal with the sign. A negative of a positive is negative. I see they're both even numbers. They're both divisible by 2. So I have 15 divided by 8. 30 divided by 2, 16 divided by 2. And this is negative 15 over 8. If they want a mixed number, then I have to take the integers out. So it's negative 1 and 7 over 8. Is this clear? Now, this is the time for you to work on a problem. Let's see which problem we come up with. Okay, problem 9. So, 4 divided by 3 plus 8 divided by 5. Everything multiplied later on by 1/3 minus 3/4. Let's work on this for a minute.